Okay, today we're going to test out the 3080 at 4040p in a game called Call of Duty Warzone. Everything maxed out. It's 4040p widescreen, by the way. Ultra wide, actually.
Engage all targets.
Okay. Yeah, so let's see the settings. Graphics, everything is maxed out, including ray tracing. I should never stand there after though. Oh well, doesn't matter. We can just spectate if we lose.
The fight's begun. While you wait, feel free to give these wankers a proper cheering. And if you find something to throw, feel free to give them that as well.
Yeah, in the Gulag we have about 180 FPS. This is with ray tracing on, yeah. It's the newest NVIDIA driver. It's the NVIDIA driver for Far Cry 6, the new Alan Wake, a whole bunch more games, Battlefield, I think.
But if you lose, you're done. Sort them out or capture the objective.
Oh, there you go.
We're bringing you home. We lost that one, but we'll come back stronger next time.
Let's spectate for a little bit. Can I move to another player?
ID to most helo marked. Scavenger contract located.
I'll take it.
Oh well, this will have to do now.
Scavenger contract located.
So, even at this resolution, like the GPU is not really fixated. It's kind of interesting. Do you use DLSS? I don't know actually. Let's actually check it out. Oh wait, we do use DLSS. Also performance. Let's apply to quality. Takes a second before it catches up, I assume. There we go. Yeah, the driver before this one seemed to have like some kind of gamma bug. A lot of users were complaining about it, so this drive actually solved it. Didn't really notice it myself, but there you go. But yeah, it's the newest driver for all the new games that come out, basically. So yeah. As you can see, the CPU is used really well. GPU is sitting on the brink of 100%, but it never really gets there, it seems like, in this area, because it's more CPU demanding. Must say 140 FPS at ultra wide 4040p. The first resolution is always like it's like 3.4K by 1.4 or some shit. It's like a 3440 by 4040p. So yeah. I just called 4040p ultra wide because I think that's the most, that makes the most sense really. Because you also have 4K ultra wide actually, which is a little bit, it's about like the same difference between the pixels of 4040p and ultra wide, which I have right now. And then if you slam another layer of pixels on it, then yeah, you get to that resolution. You also have the other different resolution like 5K. But it's not really 5K. It's like the width is like 5K and the horizontal, or what is it? The height is something like 4040p also. So it's kind of confusing. So many different resolutions on that front. I must say it runs absolutely fantastic. Yeah, Like it's really smooth by just looking at it. VRAM usage is really high. Yeah, from what I understand in this game, I think this game was one of the first that did it. It reserves all the RAM it can possibly get in the faster pulls. So if you have 10 gigabytes of VRAM, it will reserve that. My 1080 Ti, you saw over 10 gigabit VRAM usage over the with that card. Funny enough, this card's twice as fast, but it has less VRAM. So yeah. How that works out, nobody knows, but it does. You're thinking about buying the 950? Yeah, the 950 LCD screen is, or not LCD, it's IPS also, right? Like it's the big brother of this one. I was thinking about it, but $500 extra. The screen that cost 900, you know, that's a lot. At that point, you get into the territory of OLED. It's a 38 inch. It's not a 34, but 38. I find this screen already pretty big, to be honest. But it depends how far you sit away from it, I guess. Like the thing is, if you get an OLED screen, OLED television, like an LG CX80, I think it's called 50. I can't remember anymore. Yeah, you can get also that screen, and you can just put the aspect ratio in it, right? And because it's OLED, you can just disable the top and the bottom, and you have the same ID, and that's 40 inch. So the difference between those two is not particularly big. And on top of it, you can also use it as a 4K screen. You can also use it as a television. So, and that thing goes for something like 11 or 1200 bucks. So it's even cheaper. It gets really hard to sell a screen like that. I'm not gonna lie. One big downside with OLED is the burn-in, right? I leave my screen sometimes whole days on. It doesn't go into screen saver because I constantly do a little bit and then I move away. So yeah, it will 100% burn in my with my solution or how I use it. So for me, it's not particularly useful. But yeah, you have that problem, and another problem that you have with the LG is that the 950 is that, you know, it's a lot more pixels that you have to boot, right? So this one is 4.9 million. To give you a comparison, 1080p is 2 million. 1440p is 3.4 million. Okay, let's move to the next. Yeah, 3.4 million, and this resolution for 40p ultra wide is 4.9. Holy shit, this sound. Yeah, that's 4.9, so that's a lot of pixels, man, that you have to push. So, and then that screen, I think it's something like 6.2, and 4K is, I think, something like 8.2. So it's still cheaper than 4K, don't get me wrong, but it's a lot more pixels that you have to push, and it's a lot more expensive. So that's kind of the idea that I said, nah, let's not do it. I like my higher settings at this point. I think it will be pretty good usable next generation. Or the next generation cards, if they are like 50 to 60% faster. I think that will be good. Then active 4K can pop off at that point. But there's also a chance that games are also going to require more performance, right? So, yeah. I personally wasn't a fan of it, so there's that. Yeah. Yeah, well, the biggest plus point about these two LG screens is that they have literally no ghosting. It's pretty bizarre actually, because my old screen has ghosting in it. My 1080p Gsync panel. But as you can see, the performance is really like high. Because we are not particularly GPU bound at this point. I will just not use DLSS like higher than quality. So quality is basically an improvement over a native, and it gives you performance. If you go to balanced, you will actually go a little bit downwards from native. So yeah.
Found you at last.
The hell? Yeah, no guts.
Tactical grenades.
Yeah, so in general, performance is really good. I don't think ray tracing in this game does that much, to be honest. Uh-oh. He's gonna get got by the smoke. Will the 3090 over the 3080 be a good upgrade if you go to a high pixel density? No, not really, because the 3090, well, it depends. Like the 3080, the absolute weak spot on the 3080 is the 10 gigabit VRAM pool. It's really low. Yeah, it's really low amounts of VRAM for a card of this caliber. The 3090 obviously fixes that. We're going complete overkill to 24 gigabyte, but for GPU performance itself, the 3090 and 3080 are probably something like 10% apart in performance. 10, maybe 15, and that's pretty much it. Unless you get a 3090 that you can overclock really well, then the performance will go probably towards 20%. So yeah, you will get more frames, but in my opinion, I don't know, man, like 20%, like it's not a lot, man. Or 10% is not a lot. It's like 150 frames. You get like 15 frames extra. That's it. You know, do you notice that? Not really. So it's, yeah. Like at 60 frames, you get about 6 frames extra, you know? Like, yeah, sure, it makes it a little bit more smoother,
Moving this way.
I guess, you know? But at that point, you're just better off just lowering settings. You're better off just waiting for the next GPUs at that point. You'll probably get like a nice 50% performance boost, and that makes it actually worth it. But I'm really surprised. Like I got this 3080. It's an OC model, so I overclocked it a little bit on top of it. It's a little bit faster. It's a really good overclock model. I got like I think 130 on the core. That's pretty high. So yeah, performance is like really good. I get like about 5 or 6% more extra over a standard 3080. And a 3080 Ti and a 3090 is like 10% more. So, but that's stock. You can also overclock those, you know. So there's that. Well, unless you get the NVIDIA ones, then you can't overclock the shit because the cooling is so bad on these things.
Not today, my friend. Get up! I've got you.
That sucks. But he's dead. Anyway, that's the performance you can expect from this PC and this setup. And I must say, it looks absolutely wonderful. It performs well. It's great. Like, yeah, it's fantastic. So thanks for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.